Peace and blessings, everybody. So here's what's happening. DJ Freedom Ride and Vibe Experience continues, right? I wanted to reintroduce what I'm doing here a little light for a minute. So I'm driving at 4:41 in the morning on a Saturday, and I typically do these kind of drives at night, but usually I'll have the camera facing the street so you can see where I'm going. But because many of you don't know who I am, I think it was important for me to shed some light, literally, on the situation, on me, and allow you to see me. I'm the guy who likes to be heard when he plays music, but as of the last year or so, I've become more verbal, more vocal, and talking about music, talking about life, talking about ride share, talking about business, travel, all of the above. Those are things that I've become more vocal about. Today, I call this the hashtag Ride and Vibe Experience, or Ride and Vibe Express, which is stands for rave, and that was purposeful. I was looking for something that was catchy, that hasn't been used. Hard to do that with common words anyway, but I found some common words that haven't been overused in a phrase like this, and actually didn't exist as a common phrase. So ride and vibe, that's my thing. And I've come up with lots of them. I've come up with phrases for my radio shows that I know no one has ever used. Pardon me for a second, because I am driving. But even though I thought no one used it, or it was used maybe lightly, I then find out that someone has been using it, and I need to go ahead and find something else. This has happened several times. So Ride and Vibe has not been used, at least not commonly. So that's the name of this show. It's a show different from other shows that I do in audio fashion, where I'm mixing and you only hear my drops. You don't hear me talking like this. So I'm gonna get to a point where I do my shows like that, because now I got the serious condenser mic for my studio. I already have regular microphones, dynamic mics, but they sound crappy. They're good for parties maybe, but the condenser mic is really a studio mic. And I may get a dynamic mic, I may get a Shure SM57. I know this is like another language to those of you who don't know studio equipment, but all I'm essentially saying is I'm gonna be doing shows like this with my DJ equipment present while I'm gonna be DJing and I'm gonna be talking. It's gonna be the whole thing. So this is called the Ride and Vibe Experience because I drive and I vibe. What that means is what the vibe means, because I obviously ride, you get the drive and the ride part. But vibe means I'm in a particular way, mentally, and then emotionally, spiritually, physically. So the whole thing with this show is to shed light on different things. Today I'm gonna do these segments topically. In other words, I'm only gonna focus on one primary topic to make it easier for you to follow, rather than do a lot of different things, try to cover a lot of ground, and I end up not covering anything at all. So this will be about 15 minutes. I got the timer on my screen, so I'm gonna stay in that frame. So I've already spent 5 minutes introducing the show. Let's get to it. At DJ Freedom Lives on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, I think it's DJ Freedom Global. That's my Facebook. It's a fan page that I never use. I highly recommend, if you want to get to me, Instagram, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook and Tumblr, no. LinkedIn is okay too. I always forget to mention my LinkedIn. But LinkedIn, as you should know, is for business. LinkedIn is not. Well, LinkedIn is probably used for fun and games, but it was made for business. So you can hit me up there for business inquiries, bookings, all of that. I'm not going to put my email address in this because YouTube is YouTube, and who knows who will see this and find this and start spamming me. I'm driving at the end of my ride share shift, and I'm gonna address ride share for the next 8 or 9 minutes. I'm ending my shift, which in New York City is typically on a Friday going into a Saturday. Very busy. Lots of people, mostly good conversations. Some people don't want to talk at all, but overall, I have no complaints on this particular day. I have people who are sometimes confused about how this works, how they pay, how the drivers address them or don't, and ultimately, people, for the passengers, you need to learn how rideshare works. Ask a friend, read the instructions in the app. That way, drivers don't have to explain it to you when you get in the car, and now it upsets your ride and where you're going because you just didn't know. Pardon me. Please allow for that. Pardon me. I'll make sure I'll never do this at the end of my driving shift this late in the morning again. So if my eyes look tired, I'm gonna keep these shades on because you don't need to see how bad my eyes look right now. But I would like to address both the passengers and the drivers, because there are a lot of drivers that clearly don't respect the rules of the road that were put before all of us. And I get tired of checking these drivers, but I'm never going to stop doing it. I'm tired of it, but I'm never going to stop doing it, because it's important for drivers to know what the rules are when they get out here and drive. And with that, I'm gonna lead with what I started by addressing the customers, the clients, the passengers. You passengers need to know passenger etiquette. I've talked about this in my podcast versions, and I've also talked about this at meetings for the drivers union known as IDG, the Independent Drivers Guild. You should check them out. Big shout out to them, to all the members. It's a membership. It's a drivers union that is operated by its membership, which simply means that drivers like myself are members and have decision-making power to get things done. Simple, right? But what I'm saying that for is to say that passengers need to have etiquette. I've addressed this, and clearly my voice is not strong enough to have that kind of impact. But it is important that I mention this because passengers continue to get in and out of this car. Just deal with mine. And sometimes they are a little irritated I'll allow for irritation because maybe you're confused. I've had quite a few people get in and tell me that other drivers canceled on them. Some, in one case in particular, young lady said I saw him coming up the street and he wants me to come out into the street, but there's water gushing out everywhere because they got hydrants on all around the city. So I'm not trying to get my feet wet. She had on flip-flops and socks. Ladies, do I really need to go there? Do I really need to address that? Fellas, you too. I'm gonna just leave you with that. So she said that she eventually got me. Obviously, yours truly saves the day, but not before listening to her complain about it. And it wasn't that serious. We made it a light conversation. So, passenger etiquette. Be nice to your driver, number one. Because you don't know what your driver's been through. He's a human being just like anybody else. Be nice to your driver. Very important. Please tip your driver. Unless you think the driver did a terrible job, because tips are part of the driver's salary, what we earn. Realize that this is, number 3, this is usually our car. And if it's not, we're renting the car. It's very expensive to keep these cars on the road. Wow. Pardon me, y'all. I really apologize for that. I'm really tired. But, number 3. Number 2 is tip your driver. Number 1 is be nice to your driver. 2 is tip your driver. And 3 was... I'm gonna make up another 3 because I don't remember. Mine is shot right now. And I'm driving the highway with this light on. So y'all just gonna have to imagine what I look like for the rest of this. Okay, and I'm almost to 15 minutes and I didn't talk about my driver's head. So just basically, it's common sense, but common sense is not common, so I'm gonna just say it to you. Be nice to your driver, tip your driver, know where you're going, know your car before you get in, all right? Really important. Don't walk over to my window talking about, are you who you're supposed to be? Because I'm gonna tell you, I can tell you anything. Yeah, sure, get in. And be crazy out my mind, and you end up the front page of a news story. So please don't just get in a driver's face. Don't just walk over the cars, even if they have TLC plates on them, even if they have Uberlift, Juno, or Via decals on their windows. Don't just walk over and get in. I think I'm gonna have to go past 15 minutes on this. My eyes are draining, that's why you see me rubbing my eyes. Because that's what happens when you lack sleep. Now I said you need to know what type of car you're getting into, so you don't have to ask the driver, are you so-and-so? Yes, that may be so-and-so. If you look for the car first, then look for the license plate after. Very important, because you should know whose car you're getting into. And you should know that this is the driver that was assigned to you. Now, I'm gonna leave you with those basic rules for this one. I'm gonna address the drivers quickly, because I'm realizing I just don't want to do 20 minutes, but a little bit over 15, right? Wow, that's my third yawn, right? Keep it count. For you drivers, be nice to your passengers. Be nice to your passengers. Did I say be nice to your passengers? Drive safely. A lot of you Uber, Lyft, Juno, and Via drivers are driving like you're on a freeway, on a racetrack, on a freeway, and you do it on the streets too. And you're a problem to all of us. You bring heat to all of us. You make us all look bad when you drive like that. Okay, you're going too fast, and you're trying to be slick with it and make these little fly turns and dip in and out and weave and okay, so you can drive, but these are city streets we're talking about. Please drive safely. Ask your passenger for their name when they come up to your door or your window, or as they're getting in to sit down. Also, drivers, display your hack license. Your hack license should be on the dashboard or somewhere visible for every passenger who gets in your vehicle to see it. I'm not reading anything, by the way. I'm looking out the window as I'm driving, because I realized when I've done these videos, I was always looking at the phone, because the phone was in front of me. It was higher. But I moved it. So, never mind that. I'm going to leave you with one more tip, and then I'm going to peel. By the way, that's one of my mixes in the background. If you can make it out. I'm really tired, y'all. So I'm going to end this with this. Be courteous and be careful. It's summertime in New York City. It could be any time in New York City. Be careful. Don't just get in the car and not ask the basic question, what is your name and who are you here to pick up? Those are two questions, actually. Ask them both. Ask them both. And I will see y'all next time on #Ride and Vibe Experience. Peace.